it is Random Talk, and tonight we're reviewing Monster Party on the NES. It's a weird game with actually pretty good graphics and music and weird-ass enemies. It's a side-scroller with a lot of movie tropes, like the battling plant, kind of like Little Shop of Horrors and shit like that. But it's actually interesting. It's about a boy who saw the bright star that got bigger and bigger. Basically you can read along with me, so I don't need to read it to you. But yeah, besides little cutscene animations at this point, Nintendo was starting to do really well, so I can't complain too much about that. As I already explained, the music and the fucking graphics are pretty good for NES. Bert the Gargoyle, that's fucked up. Well, anyway, enough of the story, we're about to get to the game. Let's get to the game. Now, even the little story cutscenes between the chapters, like these skeletons and blood and shit, it's all actually pretty good. It's well made and interesting, creates a decent atmosphere. The gameplay itself is a weird side scroller, and you can actually knock away projectiles Now, certain enemies in this game drop items. You gotta be careful. So, certain enemies you want to beat up because you can collect items. It's kind of like fucking, what was that game? I'm drawing a blank here. It's kind of like, I can't remember the game I'm thinking of, but yeah, there's a game kind of like that where certain enemies will drop items and you can just build up the shit from those enemies that drop it. Anyway, you want to get a key. Every stage you have to find the key, but the only way to get the key is to find the mini bosses and collect question marks until you find the key. But the first thing you want to do on this game is fucking build up your health. Like I said, certain guys always drop something, so you want to spend your time building up your health as high as possible. And but I think there's a limited number of them you can get from each guy, so once you get your health up to a certain point, it won't drop health anymore, so you gotta pay attention to that. And anyway, we're going to go through at least the first stage and show you what you need to do. This is actually an entertaining side-scroller. I don't know how many people actually played it. Like, that guy just ran out of health, so now we're ready to move on. And yeah, every so often you find a pill that will let you turn into a fucking gargoyle. Which, the first boss is actually easy if you're the gargoyle, because you have to hit the bubbles to fucking make them do shit, to hurt them. But if you're the gargoyle, you just fly around, hover around, and fucking kick his ass. Otherwise, you gotta use your bat to knock the bubbles around. And he takes a lot more hits. But anyway, you want to collect all the question marks, because they heal you. So you can see they restore your health and everything else. That blinking is just telling you you're about to lose the gargoyle form. Well, yeah, it's kind of like fucking... what's the game called? There are actually quite a few like it, where you have to go into all the doors, search them out. Sometimes you, like Kid Icarus and shit like that, where you go through the doors and search them out. Sometimes Sometimes you find something, sometimes you don't. But if you don't search all the doors, you're missing out if you can find items and upgrades or extra kills. Another good example of that is fucking, another good example of that is Frankenstein. Yeah, like, some of the shit's kind of random but interesting, like, you run into this boss room or the boss is already dead. You know, just entertaining shit like that. This game is pretty good on the randomness. But here's the part where all of a sudden things change from random happiness to even darker. It is a horror game, so... It is a horror game, so of course things have to get dark. This is where everything turns into, like, evil land. What I actually think is interesting and kind of entertaining that everything suddenly turns even darker and eviler. And the weird Freddy Krueger type enemy that you come across. They could have made this a fucking Nightmare on Elm Street game. One of the weirdest things on this game is the fucking weird bug crawl you do. What's the point in that shit? Anyway, back to the game. Now, like I said, the main point of this game is to go through all the doors. And also remember to locate the fucking enemies that fucking drop the fucking transformations and the health. Because you need those fucking things to stay alive long enough to beat the stage. Here's Pumpkin Bastard. Fucking pumpkin ghost. I don't know of any tricks to beat him, because it kind of just goes back and forth. All I know about him is that you gotta try to beat the shit out of him and hope you live. That's the only way I know to beat him, is just beat the shit out of him and hope you have enough health, because he just jumps back and forth throwing little pumpkins and there's no way to really dodge him. But anyway, we defeated him. And apparently he gave me the key, which is what you need. So we got the key. That's the most important thing, because without the key, you can't beat the stage. Fucking eyeball crawler, whatever the fuck they're supposed to be. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up that some of these rooms are empty, but sometimes you can still find items like question marks will restore your health, just like the hearts. Bunch of empty rooms in this stage. I have no idea what those guys are supposed to be, those weird ghost guys. Anyway, you'll see that the door at the end of the stage is always different, and once you have the key, you get through it. And also it has a password system, so every time you beat a stage, if you know the password, you can skip the previous stage. Oh, pretty generic shit on that. Now we're in a sewer stage. But yeah, like I said, good game, interesting, with a bunch of ridiculous horror shit, and actually some comedic moments, with good graphics and good music. This is overall a good game. That's definitely worth playing on the NES. If you've never played this game, it's definitely worth checking out. If you're a fan of this game, then yeah, definitely check it out. Now we're fighting weird fish guys. Whatever the fuck that thing's supposed to be. It's starting to make me think for some reason of that movie Big Trouble in Little China. Just because of the randomness of the enemies. I don't know why. It's just making me think of that. Anyway, like I said, just like the first stage, go in every door because you never know where the key is, and you can find treasures and health. Shooting slugs. Well, we killed it. Now, some of the enemies take a shitload of hits, which can be a pain in the ass. Now we gotta find the enemy that gives me health. Because we're low on health. Well, we found the enemy that gives me the pill. But we gotta find the enemy that gives me health. Ah, there he is. Alligator. Ah, I'm running out of fucking time. Ah, there's a fish that will give me health. But yeah, like I said, you gotta gather all the health you can. Yeah, that's why I thought I missed the door. The gargoyle form really helps out on bosses. So every time you fight a boss on this game, make sure you have a gargoyle form. Apparently this room is empty. I don't know why, but every time I enter one of these rooms that says it's empty, I jump around hoping that there's some hidden secret. Even though 99% of the time there's not. You never know on an NES game. But yeah, this is only the second fucking stage.